Clusterfuck Media. CFM Radio.
All right. It's time for CFM Radio. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Welcome back to another edition of CFM Radio, video game music and news. We are here for you once again. What's up, Vector?
What's up, Drix? Video game music and news. And Drix, you know, this right here, our streaming game has been quite active, if you ask me.
Yeah. It's been a fun month. We've been spending this summer entrenched in some good games and, posting it up on the Twitch.
Some fantastic stuff. Been playing a lot of retro stuff. Been playing a lot of current stuff. And you know what? I even dabbled in a little bit of MTG Arena. And, that's a nice little thing to kill some time because, we over here at CFM, we're thinking about more and more ways to reach out and play games and engage with content that you the viewers are into as well. So it's one of those things. Magic the Gathering just had a huge new set come out. It's like one of the most hotly anticipated sets in a long time. It's a return to form, a lot of people say. I have different opinions, especially now that I've played it, but I definitely think it's an exciting time for Magic, and if people want to keep seeing that kind of content, just let us know. Check out our VODs, leave comments, and all of that great reaction content on the stuff that you want to see, because if you want us to make more of it, we will do it.
Yeah, Vector here is quite the trading card player. So, and the Sonic fan, so neck deep in everything we love to do around here and just trying to share that love with everybody out there on the net.
Absolutely. Drix, and Drix, don't count yourself out. I know you just rolled credits on Final Fantasy 16 in your casual gaming experiences, and you're not, that RPG craziness doesn't stop there with you, because we're still playing Earthbound on Mother Mondays.
Yeah, it's been a fun one so far. I just got to Moonside.
Yeah, baby.
Just when I think I'm like, oh man, this game is crazy, haha, and weird, it really takes it to a next level. Even if it's stuff I've already seen before, just playing through it again, it's always great. And really loving the combat. And I've gotten used to, not that I die a lot, but if you get knocked out, if you get team wiped in Earthbound, it's don't even worry about it. It's just money you had in your pocket, and you've got pops just throwing more into your bank account as you defeat monsters and stuff. It's been a fun grind, but I do enjoy leveling up until it starts to scare some of the monsters in the areas.
Which is always awesome. Those are the kinds of things that I love in games, especially in RPG games, where if the Dragon's Dogma 2, actually, funny enough, has something a little bit similar, where if you are really high level, the enemies will run away from you. They'll get scared and run.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
You're in the right place if that's where you're at level-wise.
Those little tiny things that feel rewarding just kind of for playing the game, right? Just for getting, hitting those points. And I will say, I have heard the criticism that mechanics like that are ways of subtly moving me forward. Hey, you've already did all you could do in this area, so just keep it going. And it's hey, you know what? To that I say, let me grind.
Yeah, no, but it does scale pretty fairly, I would say. So eventually you will get smacked around by whatever comes later.
Especially those older games, man. Especially older games like that.
Yeah, but I feel like I haven't been super try hard about it. I've just been enjoying hanging out with everybody that stops by on the stream. So kudos to you guys out there.
Yes, thank you everybody who comes out and checks out our streams, checks out our VODs. We love all of you, and we wish we'd hear more from you. So, but you know what we heard a lot about, Drix, this past weekend, as we're getting into the news here.
Gaming news.
Yes. Perhaps San Diego Comic-Con?
Yes, right in my backyard, San Diego Comic-Con. And you know what? There's a lot of stuff coming out of Comic-Con, right? And stories out of Comic-Con. Folks might be hyped about Star Wars Outlaws, the new Ubisoft Star Wars open world style game, and its first hands-on impressions from a ton of outlets. IGN, Games Radar, The Gamer, pretty much any outlet that you follow, I guess besides CFM, got their hands on Star Wars Outlaws and is all about it. They're all about it. And
Loving it.
I should say some of them are all about it. Some of them aren't really. It's a little bit mixed. And you know what? I got to give my shout outs to the Sifted podcast, the SIFT guys, SIFTD guys. You know what? They hit the nail on the head on their last show on Tuesday. You know, you have a lot of these weird impression articles that come out, and I don't necessarily agree with the whole take. I don't necessarily agree that, like, game journos today are ignorant because they're younger 20-somethings going for the clickbait, but I will say that they make a good point in that when you see a lot of these previews or hands-ons with these games that are coming out, some of these outlets do have a little bit of a zealous edge to them, where they kind of just say the game isn't looking great. They're a little bit patronizing towards the game, in almost like the bad old school way, where, like, you know, like the bad tabloid game, like the not for nothing if you like these old publications, but like your PlayStation magazines and like your official Xbox magazines, when they're reviewing like even Nintendo Power sometimes, when they would review like a clearly shitty game, but they're giving it like a 7.5, and they're like really just patronizing it because they're paid to give it a good review. But you have it almost in like the inverse, where you have some of these game outlet, like these review outlets, like funny enough, IGN was one of the ones that was like this, where it kind of felt like they just kind of didn't want to play the game. And
wasn't getting the mark for them.
Yeah, like they just didn't want to do it. Like, this wasn't Star Wars to them. They're complaining about, like, no. Here's the thing. I'm not even going to go into any specifics. But what I will say is, if you're out there looking at Star Wars Outlaws hands-on impressions, make sure you get the scoop about the author's opinion on the gameplay and like the game feel, because a lot of the times you're going to see these hands-on impressions with these franchise style games where they have an expectation where it's like, there's not enough lightsabers in my Outlaw Star Wars game. It's like, wait a minute, I didn't know Han Solo wielded a lightsaber, you know, like I didn't know that was a thing.
This is the scoundrel class we're talking here.
So, you know, you have that, and there's also Ed Boon, and this is another thing where people are like, oh man, these are not looking great, man. Mortal Kombat new characters not looking too good, as if people didn't absolutely love Omni-Man like you're seeing on the screen right now. They didn't absolutely love the Homelander, you know what I mean? So it's just one of these things where you have all these people, and it's not like, you know, for all the faults that Mortal Kombat 1 may have as far as like its online experience and the quote-unquote competitive balancing and all those other, the nitty-gritty, the campaign was awesome. And NetherRealm always delivers on fun, solid gameplay as far as the core game itself. You know, it feels like Mortal Kombat. So I'm excited for all this new Mortal Kombat stuff because, fellas, it's one thing if you can play the game and judge for yourself, and it's even another thing if you choose to believe a game review, because you know what? That's the game you're going to be buying in like a day or two, right? But these are hands-on impressions from like a convention that are way far flung out there. And if a person can't even give their take on what the gameplay feels like as it is presented, and they can only give you their take on some sort of expectation because it's an enfranchised idea, then I don't know, I don't know about that.
Reviewing Bomb Rush Cyberpunk and complaining it's not Jet Set Radio.
Indeed, yeah. or like a Tony Hawk game.
Yeah.
Like
this Tony Hawk.
Exactly. Like, it's in that same vein. But and this was talked about a lot when it first got revealed, but it's kind of been buried. But this is what we're going to focus on here on CFM Radio. And it comes from Polygon because the headline is, quote, "The Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver remasters may have just leaked out of Comic-Con."
Yes. This is good news to me.
Right?
I'm sure many others out there.
I think a lot of people will be happy to hear this. And from the article, quote, "Branding for The Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered, an unannounced project, has been spotted at comics publisher Dark Horse's booth at San Diego Comic-Con 2024, strongly hinting at a revival of the long-dormant franchise." Drix, that would be amazing.
Yeah, you won't have to, upscale it from some kind of emulation. Like, no, just give us the remaster.
And reading further, the seemingly unintended reveal of Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered came courtesy of a display at Dark Horse's booth, as previously mentioned, where the company showcased a pair of statues featuring Raziel and Kain battling each other. The article also notes that Polygon has reached out for comment, but as of now, nothing has been heard. Drix, the Legacy of Kain is pretty awesome.
Yeah, time to get into some of that good old vampire lore that they really sort of came together pretty well in like Blood Omen and like Blood Omen 2. Those are some good, like the early one on the PS1 was tight. The like GameCube PS2 one, just blood draining vampire action, and like vampire politics is always fun. Vampire lore. That's
the thing. This was Uncharted creative heads. Amy Hennig. She's the creative head at Uncharted, or was. She spearheaded that whole creative story. This was her breakout game, or like her breakout series, I should say. And it's one of the, for me, I wasn't a believer in Legacy of Kain when it first came out as a kid. You probably remember, I thought they were just dumb, edgy vampire games. Then I played it. And I was like, hold on. Like, this is like an epic. Like,
yeah. Legacy of Kain being more like the puzzle platformer of its time, but like still a good amount of blood draining action, spear stabbing.
Tons of action, tons of crazy action. And maybe not for Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 2, but for the first Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, oh my god, that game is just non-stop action. The sequel is a little bit like kind of like a big movie, but like
yeah.
But that first game, holy shit, that game is just action, then exposition, then action, then exposition. It's just like, it just doesn't stop. And then you get to the end and you're like, why is it a cliffhanger? But
gotta leave room for that sequel.
Right. So I'm really excited. After the story first broke, it seemed like a lot of people eschewed it for the Star Wars and Mortal Kombat and just little I guess other events that were happening around Comic-Con. But I gotta say, I can't wait if there's a Legacy of Kain remaster, especially if they give it the remaster treatment like some of these other games have gotten. Like that's gonna be to see something like that on a PS5 would be incredible.
Yes, very much.
And before we go to break, Drix, I gotta ask, are you excited for Black Myth Wukong?
Yeah, I love the story of Journey to the West, and it has definitely inspired a lot of other great media out there. So we're gonna get like another tale of
Yes, another telling.
crazy monkey powers.
Another telling.
He's like a Dota hero too. You know?
Yeah, right. Wukong's
He's
like a
made,
Dota.
made his way into a lot of
Dude,
lot of games.
everyone.
Sun in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, everyone. Goku.
Yeah.
Fucking Goku. Like, Goku is like Dragon Ball is like a parody of Journey to the West. Like, you know, like there's Journey to the West is what we're trying to say is Journey to the West is a timeless myth. And it seems like the game is garnering a lot of attention because the headlines from Games Radar is, quote, everyone is looking at Black Myth Wukong. Phantom Blade Zero director expects the most wish-listed game on Steam to be a breakthrough moment for China. Once again, that headline is, quote, everyone is looking at Black Myth Wukong. Phantom Blade Zero director expects the most wish-listed game on Steam to be a breakthrough moment for China. Drix, I had no idea this was the most wish-listed game on Steam.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Definitely a little piece of news because, yeah, I mean, could have fooled me. I don't look at those stats very often. I'm usually playing on Steam.
Indeed. Same. Usually playing on Steam. We don't have the staff to get in on the nitty-gritty because we have to play the games. But
yeah.
But from the article, quote, the Phantom Blade Zero director Soulflame Liang, developer of S Game, tells Games Radar he expects the upcoming action RPG Black Myth Wukong to be a watershed moment for Chinese game developers. Quote, there are many games coming from China, like Black Myth Wukong, or the ones from Hoyoverse, Liang says, referencing the dev behind the mobile action RPG Genshin Impact. Quote, I think we're now merging. It's like a bridge to different cultures and different systems. And Drix, that's a profound statement. You know, his faith in the game Black Myth Wukong and the impact it is slated to have is it's pretty it sounds like it's pretty big.
Yeah, it sounds like they've got a bit of an art scene going on. And
Yeah.
I don't know, hopefully everybody's rising up together and like, yeah, putting out work that can be enjoyed just pretty much everywhere nowadays, and live services at that too.
And
but this is Wukong's probably more the story action game. But I mean, talking about Genshin, I tried out Zenless Zone Zero for the first time like yesterday, so that's I don't know, start to notice a theme and see if you like what's coming out.
Exactly, and you make a good point about that art scene or a perceived art scene, because, you know, going back to the article, quote from Soulflame Liang, everyone is looking at Black Myth Wukong. If it can succeed in the domestic market and international market, people will be very confident about other games. I think it's a good thing, he says. Rather than directly competing with him, the more of these Chinese action epics can succeed on core platforms, the bigger the potential audience for all of them becomes. They are part of the same wave, in other words. Drix, this sounds like, now call me crazy, but this sounds like a matter of national pride for these guys. They are they're all in it together.
We got the Olympics going on
simultaneously.
Maybe we're all in the spirit. But yeah, get in there and just do your best. And, you know, I don't know if they're not competing with each other necessarily, but like, yeah, compete on the world stage.
Yeah.
Compete amongst gamers,
because,
you know, who can have the most fun.
Because here's the thing, Drix. I know a lot of you can't say that games such as Genshin Impact or any of these MiHoYo games, you cannot honestly say that there isn't a stigma around them. You know, you hear it all the time. Genshin Impact, gacha game, gambling mechanics, waifu simulator, look at the lollies. Like, you know, so here's the thing. It's an interesting idea when you actually think about it, because it is. I agree with Soulframe, because it's is China. It is the question: is China just the new, I guess, gotcha, run-of-the-mill, cheap game? like these weird, like, oh, nice gotcha game, I'm gonna take it and then I'm gonna like spruce it up and like give it a decent budget, and now we're just gonna take over the App Store? Is that what they're gonna do?
The mobile game scene.
Yeah, are they just the mobile game scene, or can they really break through? It's a profound question, and it makes me look forward to Black Myth Wukong. I'll be honest, I wasn't too hot on the game. I'm a big Souls-like guy, and whenever I see a Souls-like, for me, it's all about the gameplay. I don't really care about what it looks like. I don't really care about like the aesthetics. It could be fucking Dayglow Souls-like for me. You know,
you can paint it any way you want.
Yeah, you could look at it, paint it any way you want. But when the rubber hits the road, that's what is important to me. And you know, now that I keep hearing that these guys have a lot going for this game, including you could call them a rival developer, because you know they're not making the same game, but they say that they're in it together. So
yeah.
I'm really excited for Black Myth Wukong now. Now that if this is China's best, then hey, count me in.
Yeah, and it doesn't have the same, you know, can I even call it anime, but like the same cartoon.
No.
Black Myth Wukong isn't going to be as much of that cartoon atmosphere at all. So yeah, you're you know, a bit more masculine for checking this one out.
Yeah, exactly, right.
You won't get memed on as hard.
Yeah, exactly. People won't look at you and be like, oh, you play Genshin Impact? What?
I smell weeb. Time to me who likes anime stuff someone else who likes anime into another locker.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, you know what? Speaking of anime inspired ideas, this track you're playing seems pretty high octane. I could picture myself hearing it from an anime. What is it, Drix?
Oh man, it's called Mud Stalker. That's the name of the song. It's definitely from like the Sharp X6800. I was on a downloading spree from that obscure console pretty recently. Oh no, Mad Stalker. Excuse me.
Mad Stalker.
That's the name of the game.
Mad Stalker, Mudman from SNK. Let's go. Here, Mad Stalker Sharp 6800 CFM. We'll be back.
CFM Radio.
Faster speed is not enough for it into the proper point. That way I'll sink in the axis where pause it forces midway. Take from X's and make not new choices.
CFM Radio, we are back.
We are back and very much live. That last song was from a game called Scrapland, and it was called Human, despite the robot voice effects.
Hey, you know what? We love our homages to the great electronica gods in the form of those silly little double entendres. Like.
Oh yeah, definitely. Your song title's got to have a sense of humor, right?
Absolutely. We can't all be like Grimes. Now.
No.
No, yeah, no. Now, but you know what? I'll tell you what else is outside of that realm. New releases, because it's time we're about to talk about some.
Yep.
Because in our world, games come out every week, and we want to make sure you guys know about it.
Yeah, at least hear about them so you know you're invited to the party.
And the first one we have to talk about is Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, this was a beloved game on previous consoles.
Yes, on the GameCube and PS2? Star Wars Bounty Hunter?
Yeah.
It's a fan favorite Star Wars game remade. And here it is from the Steam page, quote, relive the timeless tale. Experience the legendary bounty hunter fantasy set before the events of Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Face off against foes and maneuver through acrobatic battles in this adaptation, in this adaptation optimized for today's consoles and hardware. Adaptation. It's supposed to be adaptation, but that is a typo. Star Wars Bounty Hunter releases tomorrow, Thursday, August 1st, for all major platforms and DRICs. This is the Jango Fett game.
Yeah. So all the Boba Fett fans can experience what it'd be like to have to shoot with your wrist while using a jetpack.
Indeed. Okay, so here's the thing. Star Wars Bounty Hunter, cool idea. I remember renting this game. And
yeah.
And you know what, Drix? I hope this remake is a little more smooth than the original game, because if I remember this game correctly, it was pretty clunky.
Yeah, you didn't get the most joy out of jetpacking around.
Well, you needed to commit to that shit. Like, you would go jetpacking, and there is no dynamic movement, right? You just go in that direction. And, this was back in the days where 480p camera control was not great. Like, so, there were many a times in this game I remember flying towards somewhere to get out of the way of something and then flying off the edge. So,
yeah. Committing to a jump, making you just a falling target.
Exactly. So, you could do a lot of cool stuff, and this game has a ton of sick moments. But I'm hoping that this remaster is way better than what we got before. Normally they are.
Yeah, they can polish it up a little bit for
Hell
modern
yeah.
times and machines. We're much more capable now. We've learned.
And that one is coming out for Xbox One or Xbox Series consoles. Sorry, not one, huh? PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC tomorrow, Thursday, August 1st. Next up, we have. Oh, my bad. Next up, we have is a game with an interesting title. It's called Thank Goodness You're Here. From the Steam page, quote, Thank Goodness You're Here is an absurd comedy slapformer set in the bizarre northern English town of Barnsworth. As a traveling salesman, take the time to see the sights and meet the locals, who are very eager to give you a series of increasingly odd jobs. And you know what, Drakes? This one looks kind of funny. A slapformer, right?
Yeah, slapformer. Everybody's just going around looking like cartoons and putting hands on each other. this is gonna be kind of hilarious. It's almost like looking like you're playing an adult cartoon, like that was on Adult Swim or straight out of McFarlane's brain.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? That seems hopefully it has the sense of humor to match. But you know what? From this trailer here, it looks pretty funny. I think it nails that aesthetic. 100% looks like a playable adult cartoon, right? I definitely think this is one that if you want something different, you just want to check it out. You know? A new take on a familiar, I guess, formula. Because this is from the people who made the Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was like looking for the rating. It doesn't look that like mature either.
No.
A silly, wholesome, good time.
Exactly. So you know what? That game is called Thank Goodness You're Here. It also comes out tomorrow, Thursday, August 1st. Don't forget to check that one out. And now, before we get into the final segment of CFM Radio, we got one last new release, and then a break. But that last release is another classic. This is Tomba.
Tomba is coming back at you.
Tomba is back.
Yeah, the pink-haired, almost primate-looking guy.
I think we could call him a caveman or a berserker.
Yeah. A little caveman berserker boy. He's going to be throwing some pigs around in this one.
From the Steam page, quote, as the titular Tomba, you leap, bite, and throw your way across stunning 2.5D landscapes on a quest to overcome a deplorable cadre of nefarious pigs. Along the way, you'll explore ancient relics, discover fascinating characters, unlock thrilling quests, and unearth hidden treasures. It's a platforming adventure that perfectly fuses linear and non-linear gameplay styles. And you know what, Drix? I have a lot of fond memories of Tomba. They're very good. They're very good games. And you know what? These remade cutscenes look amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna enjoy some of this cartoon glory from an age of platformers that really had to stick out with art style, cartoon atmosphere.
And like attitude, right? Like Tomba has a lot of attitude.
Like keep up with Mario and Sonic duking it out,
Absolutely. You need to stand out, right? And you know what? I think it's only right that Tomba comes back because I don't know about you, Drix, but I saw this guy growing up. I saw this guy all over PlayStation. All over PlayStation stuff.
Yeah, like the magazines, the tips and tricks articles, the demo discs. No, and that's one of the first games people want to revisit when they think about, PlayStation 1 just as a console. Or if they decide to pick up an emulator, it's always like, oh, do you remember Tomba? Like, that was weird and cool, wasn't it? Yeah, it'd be nice to enjoy that again. So here it comes.
A lot of the before we head to break, I will say a lot of those games on the old school PS1 catalog are like that. You got games like Tomba, you got games like Dino Crisis, you got games like Galarians, you got games like Wipeout. You got a lot of even some of these old like JRPGs, Wild Arms 2. Like, these games were huge and they were pushed hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you might not know Tomba now and you might be looking at this silly pink-haired caveman with a loincloth fucking around with a bunch of pigs and throwing spike balls at him and stuff like that. And you might be like, what the fuck am I looking at? But, dude, this was the jam back in the 90s.
A lot of fun. And, a little bit of that Metroidvania element where it's like, oh, you can go left, like you can go back where you came,
and then there's something new.
Yeah. Tomba opens a lot of doors in that kind of realm, so that other games could run. Tomba walked.
Absolutely, and that is Tomba Special Edition. It's coming to you from Limited Run Games, and that is going to hit PS4, PS5. Switch and PC tomorrow, Thursday, August 1st. Drix, I gotta find out what this funky groove you got going on in the back is.
This is from Contra Hardcore,
I
a
fucking
song called
knew it.
Jurassic Dope.
Yep, I knew it. Definitely sounds like some Sega Genesis bass going on. Contra Hardcore, Jurassic Dope, CFM Radio.
CFM Radio. CFM Radio.
CFM Radio, we are back. We are back on some sick ska.
Yeah, that last song was called Flying to Your Heart from Guitaroo Man.
Ooh, we love some Guitaroo Man.
And this one, would you believe Disney made an extremely goofy skateboarding game for the PC? So this is the beach level from that one. So I might dive into the rest of this soundtrack too, but
hey, this is a banger. Like,
yeah, some nice, Disney beach ska.
So like, not to go on a tangent about Disney or anything really quick, but like I will, because like it's an interesting the Disney era. It's interesting to see like that late 90s, early 2000s era of Disney, where like it was like half like still in this like uber wholesome like I guess like retro Americana like phase, but then like you had this like cadre of shows that had like this vibe, like the vibe from this song.
Just rocket power.
Just rocket power ass vibes. And it's like, wait, what the fuck? Like, oh shit. So you have like this like collection of like strange times from Disney's such an interesting monopoly. Like you have this like, you have this interesting like era of music from Disney where they like embraced like rock, and like sometimes they like they weren't the only ones. Like Cartoon Network and shit did it too, because like and sometimes like you hear some of these tracks and you're like, damn, did they actually understand this? Like
somebody there knew exactly how to come up with this.
Yeah,
Give
exactly.
it like this sublime cool factor.
Exactly, it's knockoff sublime factor. More games must embrace the sublime cool factor. I say it now. Like,
yeah, you'll only benefit from it.
Give me more ska games. But
yeah. Ska and pro wrestling are the only legitimate forms of art.
But we're it's unfortunate. I love ska and I love irreverent music because like it's actually the polar opposite of what we're about to talk about. Like
yeah, you got to have some balance.
This is the absolute.
Before you talk to your accountants and get into your sales revenue.
Oh boy, yeah, it's absolutely the other side of this coin. I'm putting on the Fallout B-roll for this one because it's absolutely apocalyptic, at least for us. If for these big corporations, probably not, but for us as gamers and just individuals, yes. But now, we say this because we are going to talk about some more financials, as both the Microsoft and Capcom financials released. Those came out. The quarterly earnings reports are here, and they just came out within the last few days. I think Microsoft's, now that you can't get it on publicly anymore. Funny enough, we'll get into that a little bit later. But they released theirs literally yesterday, the 30th. So we're gonna start off with Microsoft's, and Simulation Daily comes to us with the Microsoft news, as Microsoft has again, as I had mentioned, since taken down their public documents. The Simulation Daily article, the link to the document on there just simply does not work. And you go to you type it into the browser and all that, it's just not there anymore. So thank you, Simulation Daily. The headline is, quote, Microsoft gaming revenue grows 44% year on year. Xbox hardware down 42%.
Trendy, huh?
Trendy. From the article, quote, according to the financial documents of the more personal computing business, which includes the gaming segment of the company, gaming revenue grew 44% year on year. 48% of that growth came from the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And Drix, I don't think that's a surprise to anyone.
Yes, we ate something that was already doing good.
You know, Diablo 4 was a great selling game. It sold like gangbusters, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there are even more people who are just like, wait, I can just play it on my Xbox now?
Yeah. Man, it has to add up to something, right? Their whole strategy.
sounds like it adds up to about 44%. And from the article, quote, according to the financial documents, we got that. The Xbox content services grew 61% year on year, slightly ahead of expectations. 58% of that growth was due to the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Stronger than expected performance of first-party content was partly offset by third-party content.
Oh.
And the website also notes that console sales being down as seemingly negligible, with the author noting, quote, obviously hardware revenue wasn't directly influenced by the acquisition. And Drix, I would push back against that. What about you? Because I would say that, Activision Blizzard being as big of a name as they are, I think I'll just say it like this, anecdotally, right? People at my day job, when I told them that you could just play Diablo 4 on Game Pass with an Xbox, I know a couple of people later on that week who got an Xbox Series S.
Huh. That might have added up to something.
You never know.
They did the mental math. It was like, wait, I could just play Diablo 4? Maybe I should buy an Xbox.
I should just buy an Xbox. You know what I mean? And again, this is my day job, and I talk to a wide range of people, young and old, and it kind of was one of those things where like the Zoomers were kind of just like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, Overwatch is free though, right? And like, it's like, yeah. But like, you could play Diablo, and like a lot of people, Drix, people know what Diablo is, but people still kind of like Diablo is still kind of like this just name, right? Like it's more of a name than what people know it as a game at this point, I would say. At least until Diablo 4. I'll say it like that. Until Diablo 4, people kind of just knew Diablo as kind of a name rather than like the effect of what its pedigree has on gaming, right? So like,
yeah. Huh.
So, but even then, like I said, I push back. I would say, you have people who would hear, wait, I could just play the newest Diablo on the latest Xbox? The latest Xbox is $350?
Huh.
It doesn't need a disc?
Yeah. A lot
so
of
how much is that? How much is that Xbox?
Just thinking.
Yeah, how much is that Xbox? Oh, it comes with a controller? So I can't play with my friends. Oh, but we can play online.
Without a disc?
Without a disc.
I just have to put it in.
I don't even need to put it in. I just sign up for essentially gaming Netflix. Like,
yes.
So I'm pretty sure that, I'm pretty, again, we have reported on this show before that the Xbox Series S is the Xbox that moves. People don't buy Series X. They buy Series S. And for whatever reason, right, it's probably the price point, it's probably the convenience point, but for whatever reason, people just buy some Series X or Series S. To me, I don't read it as like a quality thing. I just read it as people just want a fucking game.
Yeah. Not the most hardcore, but still trying to get into it.
Yeah, I just want a game. This plays Call of Duty and like all the latest Xbox games Sick. Bet.
Yeah.
Give me that.
So
Like-
one subscription, many games.
Yeah, you mean I could just play Skyrim all fucking day?
Yeah.
Bet. Like, so I bet, so from my estimation, I'm sure that those translated to sales, at least in a smaller way, because I think that's a kind of a slight to Activision Blizzard. Even though you might not like them. God knows I don't like Activision Blizzard. But,
Yeah.
like, you can't say that they're not a household gaming name,
Yeah. Whether we like it or not.
whether we like it or not. So, thank you, Simulation
What a
Daily.
combined experience there.
Yeah. Thank you, Simulation Daily. I'm very, very, very grateful that we have these guys who are on the docket when we can't get everything. Because you know what, Drix, for this next one, I just went to capcom.co.jp
Yeah.
and that shit was right there. So, because finally we have Capcom whose documents are live for your perusal from capcom.co.jp. And, Capcom, they're not going to hide anything like that from, well, I mean, that's not true. They totally would if it was bad. But they're not going to mince words in a I guess an upswing for them, let's call it, because the document entitled consolidated financial results for the 3 months of the fiscal year ending in March 31st, 2025, Japan, GAAP dash unaudited. The report states that, quote, as a result of the 3 months ended June 30th, 2024, consolidated net sales were 29,507 million yen, down 32.5 year over year. Sorry. Operating income was 12,889 million yen, down from 46.4 year over year. Ordinary income was 13,487 million yen, down 47.9 year over year, and net income attributable to owners of the parent was 9,975 million yen, down 45.1% year over year. And this is just me. I'm going to break for a moment because right before we get back into it, this is, quote, outperforming the company's plan for the period under review. So, Drix, they took losses across the board, and they still outperformed.
They're like, we're fine with this. This is exactly what we predicted.
And they say that it's mainly because of Street Fighter and the hype from Monster Hunter and the recently they had a nice boost from the recently released Monster Hunter Go.
Yeah.
On the phone.
It's an interesting catch. Geocache.
Indeed. But the report also indicates that Capcom is not backing down from its ventures outside of gaming.
Ooh.
Yeah. Quote, in addition, the company focused on promoting various events and collaborations in conjunction with the 20th anniversary of the Monster Hunter series, as well as focusing on movie and television adaptations of its major IPs and developing character merchandise for its popular titles. Drix, it seems like Capcom just can't stop winning. They have had the most profitable, 3 years running. They released people don't remember Resident Evil Dead Island, but that was a movie that released 3 months ago. It was like a CGI movie that released for Resident Evil, and it's like the next canon event in the series.
Huh.
So
yeah, that's kind of crazy. I didn't know they made their own Advent children,
it's funny to me, Drix. I'll go back to the guys over on Sifted, the Sifted podcast guys. They over the last month-ish have been riffing on Square and how they kind of can't get their shit together.
Yeah.
And they like Matt Kyle over there, he always brings up how Square thinks, for lack of a better word, at least how he knew Square to think back in the days of like Final Fantasy 11 stuff like that. And they were just like super fucking ambitious. Like, oh my God, like the lady, the 3D model lady that we made for Final Fantasy The Spirits Within will be in other Hollywood productions. She is a celebrity. like
yes,
like
Spirits Within, nice.
Play online store net cafes are the future of online gaming. Like,
we can predict what's going to happen, and it just goes completely a different direction.
Complete different direction. But you know what, Drix? It's funny to me that you say that you make the parallel between like Capcom and Square. Like, yeah, it does sound like they're kind of going like that. They're doing the whole Advent Children thing, doesn't it? They're kind of like, hey, you know, we've seen Square do it.
Yeah, it's not out of their realm.
It's not. It's one of those things. It makes me think. Like, this is the end of the show, by the way, but it makes me think. Like, now that Capcom has, would you say that this is probably Capcom's most, for lack of a better phrase, like Capcom's like at full power again, like they were in like the arcade days? Like they keep winning, you know? They're making movies.
Towards something. Yeah, I mean, let's ride on the coattails of things like Fallout, and who doesn't need like more plushies? From your favorite characters and stuff.
Who wouldn't buy a Mega Man plushie? Mega Man merchandise, people love Mega Man.
Yeah, I have a few Mega Man shirts in my wardrobe as well.
People love Drix. People love Mega Man. People love Street Fighter. Like, like a third of this quarterly earnings report was about Street Fighter 6, Drix. It was about Street Fighter 6. It was about esports and Street Fighter 6, and about how Street Fighter 6 has gained like is going to like this huge like esports World Cup in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Like, you know,
nice. Yeah, coming hot off the heels of the Evo tournament too.
Exactly. Like, you know, so like there's a lot that Capcom is almost. They almost feel like,
even if in 3 years they're still coming in third place, they're still going to be popping like 3 bottles of champagne, saying, "Yeah, we did it."
I mean, but at the same, Drix, I don't know what is going to happen when the Marvel vs. Capcom collection comes out.
Yeah, everybody's going to have a good time, is what I mean. Like, it'd be funny to hear like, oh, everybody, we were disappointed with the sales numbers, but who knows? I know some people in my circle who are excited about it. They're ready.
I know people
ready to fight it out online.
I have overheard people talking about it.
Wow.
Like, I have overheard people in my daily life, and like I've seen people that I've never seen talk about video games in like any relevant capacity. See that announcement.
Yeah.
And
so there's still
go hype
places, you know, and they've stumbled across it once and be like, yeah, I can't wait to own that little piece of arcade heaven.
Yeah. Like, you know, it's interesting to me because do you
some of the best like X-Men games
yeah
too, like,
it has like all of them.
Marvel movie out. We got Wolverine, you know, main character in many of the X-Men versus Street Fighter games.
Wolverine was like the main character of the Marvel Versus series.
Yeah. His sound effects live rent-free in your brain. Just
like
barrage,
all the way up to Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. The marquee ending picture of marquee ending key art of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Vanilla Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is Ryu and Wolverine with their shoulders over one another, just rising above. Like,
so good.
Like, come on. And then we don't talk a lot about pop culture on this show, but like the whole Deadpool Wolverine movie that just came out, Wolverine is on a comeback. And Capcom is just gonna ride it.
Yeah, that seems like the plan too. So
just like the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Here it comes again.
Drix, how 90s is the world we're living in? We have a new Fatal Fury coming out next year. Marvel vs. Capcom is back, and Street Fighter is one of the hottest games out.
Yep. It never left. The real 90s was the friends you made along the way.
Or maybe millennials are just the fucking premier demographic after this whole time.
Premier money spendy demographic.
Money spending. Hey,
buy back my childhood.
Hey, we got you guys. We got the millennials early on the startup culture. Now we're gonna get you on the nostalgia hardcore.
Yep, we know.
We got your parents, and now we're gonna get you.
Yeah, go to the movies this weekend.
Go to the movies this weekend. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves comes out next year. Fucking Tomba, go pick up the Tomba Special Edition.
Yeah.
Go pick up
Legacy of Kain, my guy.
Go pick up Tomba Special
It's
Edition.
also available on the Dreamcast. Okay?
Yeah, dude. Like, all right, though. I think that's it for us here at CFM Radio. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Always a pleasure hanging out with my buddy Drix, jamming to some music and talking about the latest video game news headlines.
Oh, yeah. No, we love doing this, and we can't wait to see you again in Internet Land.
In Internet Land on Facebook. Remember, the Backlog Beatdown is this Tuesday. We are continuing with another story with Sonic Frontiers. It's getting good. I've played as all of Sonic's friends, and now I'm playing as Sonic again. It's wild.
Yes.
And Drix will not be back next week.
Actually, I think I am.
Oh!
There's I got a bye week in Pinball League. I think I might have
shit.
an additional Monday to come back on the 5th.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
God. A
stay tuned.
Mother
You might hear from
Monday
me around.
double feature.
Yeah. No, if I'm not competing at pinball in my local community, then yeah, I'll be streaming Earthbound on Mondays.
All right, Earthbound Mondays. You heard it here. We got Mother Monday special edition off week. We got CFM Radio next week. Don't miss that. Always on Wednesdays. Subscribe, and you will get in. I saw it. Thank you, everybody who popped in. You guys are awesome. And make sure you're following us on all of our socials, guys. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, over on Twitch, over on Instagram, on TikTok, all right, here on YouTube, everywhere. Just follow us. Clusterfucked Media. Clusterfucked, F-U-K-T, Media. And don't forget, play some games.
Oh yeah. Have a good night, everybody.